Hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? I cannot say how excited I am to hello Anna, hello Star, Lisa. Hi everybody. How's everybody doing today? I am so excited for this live today. You have no idea. It's been such a journey for me to learn about intermittent fasting, to be able to incorporate into my lifestyle or when I need it. And you guys had so many questions. I have pages and pages of questions here. So we're going to do our very best to try to answer all of them with Dr. Hyman. He's amazing, amazing individual. And has so much knowledge. Let me see if he's here. So guys, let's see. We got India. What's everybody watching it from today?
Hi, how you doing? Oh, it's so good to see you.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
Good. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, well, I'm here in California. You're in Hawaii. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, you got to get a little break here and there, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I am so beyond grateful for you taking the time to talk to us today.
Of course.
Um, yes, I know you're very, very busy. So guys, everybody watching at home, don't take this for granted. Dr. Hyman's super busy. So for you to taking the time, it's really a lot of gratitude over here. Um, Dr. Hyman,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit funny about introducing people because I always want to hear from the person, right? But if you guys are not familiar, if you just chiming in now, you're not familiar with Dr. Hyman, I'm going to have to read this because it's so many great things.
Well,
I don't
don't
want
say
to
too
miss
much.
anything. So check this out, guys. Dr. Hyman is he's practicing family physician, right?
Yeah.
And he's internationally recognized leader, speaker, educator, and he's an advocate for functional medicine, which you can explain to us a little bit too, Dr. Hyman,
Yeah.
in a minute. He's founder of the Ultra Wellness Center,
Hmm.
which I just became part of it not long ago. And he's also head of strategy and innovation at the Cleveland Clinic of Functional Medicine. And he's 13 times, guys, 13 times New York Times bestseller author. That is amazing. So Dr.
Thank you.
Hyman, let's get right to it because
Yeah.
I have pages of questions here,
Yeah.
okay? And I want you to explain a little bit. Let's start by just explaining the fundamental of what is intermittent fasting, what are the health benefits, and are they long-term?
Yes. Great question. So there's a lot of discussion about intermittent fasting or fasting, and there's a lot of different methods, right? We call it time restricted eating, which means eating within a certain time window. It could be 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, right? It could be truly intermittent fasting, which is fasting for a day or 3 days or a week or longer. It could be a fasting mimicking diet, which is an extremely low calorie diet for, let's say, 5 days. Or it could even be something that is like a fast, but it activates the same mechanisms, but is using a different approach, which is a ketogenic diet. And they all do the same things. And the idea is you want to give your body a rest from the way the metabolism normally runs, which is on sugar and carbohydrates. And you want to give your body a break to actually start to repair itself. So what's really amazing about it, the various techniques, and they all do the same thing, is it basically helps you stimulate your metabolism. It causes you to lose belly fat. It increases your antioxidant enzymes. It increases your ability to fight inflammation, which is important in times of COVID. It also helps to increase bone density and muscle mass, improve cognitive function. It turns on all the genes that have to do with longevity and healthy aging. So it's really quite an extraordinary technique for helping our bodies to reset. And it's something we always did, right? We in America, we snack all the time. We eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We eat all day long, and we eat up until we go to bed. We weren't designed like that. We would go through periods, as hunter-gatherers, where we would have to starve, or we'd have to do very well with very little. And so our bodies have hundreds of genes that keep us adapted to starvation, but almost no genes that help us cope with excess or abundance, which is what we have now. We eat about 720 calories more than we did, you know, in 1960 when I was born. So that is a lot of food, and that just has to be run through our system, and it's like a dirty engine. So essentially, doing these techniques, whether it's time-restricted eating or intermittent fasting or fast mimicking diets or ketogenic diets, they all help to clean a dirty engine, essentially. They give your body a chance to repair, renew, rebuild, and it activates something called autophagy, which is this incredible system in your body that allows your cells to regenerate, repair, and renew. So it's like almost like takes up all the garbage, cleans it up, recycles it, and then puts it back into new parts for your body. So it's a really important thing that we do, that we don't simply eat all the time. And if you don't want to get into all the fancy stuff, all you have to do is have breakfast. In other words, break your fast, which means a 12-hour overnight fast. So eat dinner at 6. If you eat at 6 the next morning, that's a 12-hour fast. If you eat dinner at 6 and you eat at 8 o'clock the next morning, that's a 14-hour fast. So it's not that hard to do. And if you want to extend it to 10 hours, to 16 hours, you can eat at 10 o'clock in the morning.
So is that a certain period, Dr. Hyman? Because what I'm hearing here is that different ways of doing intermittent fasting. So everybody has to find the way that works for them.
Yeah.
So is that a certain amount of hours that, like, okay, I have to fast minimum of this hours in order for that process to kick in our body?
At least 12. You know, at least 12, probably maybe 14 or 16, you'll get more of a benefit.
Okay, that's really good. Now,
but 12 is what we should be doing anyway. We should be having dinner. And we have dinner at 8 o'clock at night, eat 8 o'clock the next morning. That's a 12-hour fast, right?
Yeah. But you're right. Like, you know, it's very, you know, we usually snacking right, you know, after dinner, right before bed, and so on, exactly. Right? But let me ask you something though. If you cannot do, so let's say, so minimum of 12 hours, 14, 16, you might get more benefits from it. But is it also a certain amount of days? Like, do you have to do, if you do that just once a week, are you getting any benefits? Or you should do 5 days a week or 6 days a week, or it should be a lifelong habit?
I mean, I think, 12 hours should probably be a lifelong habit. In other words, don't snack at night, don't eat late, and give yourself 12 hours every day from a break from eating. That's fine. That's what we all should be doing. It's called breakfast, break the fast. If you want to experiment with other techniques like longer fasting, either 16 hours or skipping a day of eating, 24-hour fast or 36-hour or 48-hour fast, longer fast, you can do that. Not everybody should do it, though. There are certain people who may not thrive when they do that. If you're very underweight, if your metabolism is super high, if you're pregnant, there may be cases where it won't be effective for people. Certain times, some women, if they're particularly thin or they really can't tolerate doing 16-hour fast. They can do a 12-hour fast, but not a 16-hour fast.
That's a very important point that you bring it up, because I always say, hey, make sure you check with your doctor or your specialist if it's okay for you to do it. But like you say, it was a lot of questions here about if you have diabetes or if you have problems with hypothyroid, how you say?
Yeah, hypothyroid.
Yes.
Hypothyroid, yeah. If
you have problems with that.
A low thyroid, you can say low thyroid.
Yeah, so if you have thyroid problems or if you're diabetic, is that something that is recommended as well?
Absolutely. I mean, there is doctors who recommend longer term fasting for diabetics as a cure. And there are studies that show within a week you can reverse diabetes with extremely low calorie diets or fasting. So absolutely, for diabetics and people who are overweight or have extra belly fat, it's a fantastic way to get rid of that belly fat and to activate your metabolism and to reverse some of the challenges that we have. But we found that if people do intermittent fasting, it doesn't matter as much what they eat, it'll still work, but it works far better if you eat a whole foods healthy diet. And if you just eat crap, it's the break from eating can help, but it's not really ideal.
Okay, so before we get into what you can't eat and what you cannot eat and how to break a fast, because we had a lot of those questions too, let me ask you this: what about age? is it like after a certain age? Like for instance, I have my mother-in-law, she's 88. You know, we had a lot of people asking that as well. Is it a certain age that it's not safe to do intermittent fasting?
Well, I think again, you have to look at each individual. If someone's a healthy 70 or 80-year-old, yeah, they can do a break for 16 hours a day if they want to. They can do other types of fasting. If you're a little kid, it's probably not great, but again, little kids should have a 12-hour fast just like everybody else.
Yes, yes. But I think kids naturally, right? If you stick with the healthy habits, I think they naturally get it because, you know, hey, you got to get to school, going to bed, you're getting that cycle of sleep.
Yeah.
So talk to us. What can you not like? What can you have during your fasting period? So while you're fasting, what can you have? A
Well, you
lot
can
of
have
people ask, a
water.
lot of people go, can I have coffee? Can I have coffee with milk? Can I have my tea
Yeah,
with
yeah.
milk?
You can have like black tea or black green tea or coffee or water. Um, you can have water with lemon in it. You can have hot water with lemon in. But you really shouldn't be having any. You can have probably sort of clear broths and soups, but you really shouldn't be having anything with any substance in it. That's the whole point, is to give your body a break.
Okay, so nothing that spikes up your insulin level.
Well, you just need to I mean, it's not so much about your insulin. It's just about giving yourself that time to take a break. And most people can tolerate it very well. In fact, 75% of us are overweight. 88% are metabolically obese, unhealthy, which is not great. It means 88% of us have some level of poor metabolic health. And those people would really benefit from an incredible effort to change their diet for the better in terms of whole foods, and also to do some of these time restricted or intermittent fasting ideas.
Yes. All right. So guys, coffee, any kind of tea is okay, right?
Yeah, any kind of tea, but no,
Any
don't
kind
put
of tea
anything
is
in it. So
okay.
you can't put milk or creamer or anything in it,
Yeah.
or sugar
Water,
or anything.
and just don't add anything to your
Yeah,
drinks. That's it.
yeah.
But just
Black
liquid
coffee, green tea. Yeah.
in plain broths. Um, then what's the best way to break your fast?
Well, it's not with bagels and cream cheese, like we do on Yom Kippur in the Jewish tradition. That's a bad
Really?
idea.
Are you sure, Dr. Hyman?
I'm sure. No bagels and cream cheese. You want to be eating just real food. I think this is something that we've become so used to in America, is eating processed food, junk food, sugar, starchy foods. 60% of our calories are processed food, and that just damages our metabolism. That's why we see 88% of us are metabolically unhealthy. So really, it's important to just eat real food, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains, beans, clean animal protein. If you eat animal protein, just real food. So I think it doesn't have to be fancy or complicated, but just eat real food. I mean, if you are, for example, fasting for days or a week, that's different. You can start, if you're doing water fast, you can start with juicing. Green juices, you can start to add in, steamed vegetables, start to add in some rice. But, for people who are doing prolonged fast, it's a little bit of a different approach. But if you're just doing an overnight fast or a 16-hour fast, you don't have to worry about
Right.
it.
So if
Yeah.
we're only talking, guys, they're making it very clear. We're only talking about intermittent fasting right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys don't get confused. But what about breaking the fast with a celery juice? Like as the first thing that you have as a celery juice.
That's fine. Celery juice is fine. It's a great cleanser. It's a diuretic. Um, it's low sugar, and I think it's a fine way to break the fast.
Do you get extra benefits or not
Yeah,
really?
I think you do, because it actually helps to flush out your kidneys and fluid and toxins, and so I think it can be really good. And if you do it, people have done it. Does make you feel better.
Yeah. So I had somebody that was just asking here, no bulletproof
Coffee? No.
coffee during
Well,
fasting.
that's an interesting idea, because fat doesn't take you out of the starvation state. So one of the ways to induce the same metabolic state for repair, regeneration, renewal, and healing is to do a ketogenic diet. That means 70 to 75% of your diet is fat. Now, that's not
But
for
good fat.
everybody. Good
Good.
fats, right. So, some people tolerate saturated fat, some people don't, but you can use butter and MCT oil in coffee. You can actually sustain the ketones and sustain that metabolic process. So that's a little cheap if you want to do that.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, All right. So then now we're going to go into what to eat, which you already told us, hey, you know, just eat whole foods, right? And in the time period that you are eating. But somebody was asking, I have some questions here, okay? Wild Blossom is asking, most people doing this are low carb. I'm vegetarian. Would I benefit from it?
Yeah, you know, often if vegetarians or vegans tend to eat a higher amount of carbohydrate and starch, which is a dirty burning fuel. And it prevents our metabolism from getting a rest. And I think you can often lose muscle, increase your blood sugar and insulin, depending on what you're eating. If you're eating a lot of rice, you're eating a lot of starchy foods, which is, you know, often, if you're eating only vegetables, it's not going to do that. But if you're tending to eat more grains and more starchy foods, it can be a challenge. And then people can get metabolically unhealthy. So I think having, you know, someone like that, yeah, it's okay to do, but you want to make sure your overall diet is high in good fats, high in good quality protein, and low in starch and sugar.
Just have a balanced diet, right? Which is exactly what you say. Protein, good fats.
Veggies, yeah.
What else?
Lots of veggies.
Lots of
Yeah.
veggies.
It's basically, you know, yeah, basically 75% of your plate should be like veggies, right? And a little piece of protein, and then lots of good fats, olive oil, avocados, nuts and seeds, yeah, all that.
Okay, good. Remember,
I call it the Pegan diet. I call it the Pegan diet. I've written about it a lot, and my new book is coming out in February called The Pegan Diet: 21 Practical Principles for Eating in a Nutritionally Confusing World. And I talk about intermittent fasting and time-restricted eating and everything.
Fantastic. I can't wait. I can't wait because it is all very confusing.
It's very simple. Yeah, it's very simple.
Yes. Yvonne is asking, how many times do you eat after the 12 hours fasting, or 14 or 16 hours? What are the best foods? Yvonne, we just answered that question. And do you eat just once a day? I'm going to answer that. No, you eat more than once a day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think eating once a day, even if you have a good meal, if you have a large meal, it can be challenging for your metabolism. So it's not like a lion where they can, you know, eat once a week and then digest it, or an alligator eat once a year, you know. But you really need to eat at least a couple of times a day.
Yes, at least, right?
Yeah, don't spread your calories all into one meal. You want to make sure you give enough time for your body to digest and not overload. Because even healthy food, if you eat too much of it at one meal, can raise your insulin and blood sugar and create metabolic chaos and cause you to gain weight. I mean, they did a study where they gave people one meal for dinner, and that with the same calories, or they divided up into 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but same calories. Yeah. The group that had the one meal, even though it was exactly the same calories, gained weight, and the other group didn't. Yeah, because it just overloads your system and your body goes to store it all.
There we go. So that's a very important thing for us to remember, guys. Amounts is a very important thing too, and how you spread them out. That's very important. That's what I try to do, Dr. Hyman, when I do it. And for me, the intermittent fasting, it's also like it helps me break bad habits. So I started back up again because more like the longer, because I was snacking like crazy with everything going on in the world right now. I was going crazy on
a lot of people are,
and I was on a sugar kick that I couldn't get off of it. So for me, it helps me get out of bad habits. It gets me into a little bit of a better routine, and even my mind gets more clear, and I have more energy to go through things. Somebody was asking, Navana is asking, does oil pulling break a fast?
Does what?
Oil pulling.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Also, Molly Mosso, she was asking that she heard that if you are in a lot of stress and have high cortisol, that the intermittent fasting is a bad idea. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, if you're super stressed and have high levels of cortisol, it'll screw things up, because it does cause increased mobilization of glucose stores and sugar stores and cause weight gain. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a stress on your body to fast, but it's a good kind of stress, and that can create a healing response. But if you're stressed, it's important to deal with that also. So meditation, yoga, deep breathing, whatever you like to do.
So bringing those cortisol levels down first and then go into intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. All right, workout questions. We got some workout questions here.
Okay.
is it better to work out on a empty stomach, and is it okay to do so?
Yes, it's okay. And some people say it's better. Some people say a little bit. But often, if you really want to build muscle, it's important to have protein after you exercise, particularly if you're lifting weights. So I encourage people to have protein after the exercise. And a protein shake is a great way to do it. And you can get whey protein or plant-based proteins. If it's whey, I like the goat whey because it's less inflammatory than the cow whey. But you want to make sure you get grass-fed goat whey, and you can use other plant proteins as well to help.
Yeah, you have some products as well, right, Dr.
Yeah,
Hyman?
we created a vegan shake, which is a combination of collagen protein from grass-fed cows, pea protein, pumpkin seed protein, also has MCT oil, acacia fiber, avocado oil. So it's essentially a fat, fiber, and protein shake. So it really keeps you full and satisfied. It doesn't have that sugar in it. It tastes great. People can they can go to getpharmacy.com and find it. We love it. I mean, I think people are just really excited about it.
That's awesome. Let's talk about booze.
Yeah, everybody's drinking more during COVID, that's for sure.
That's for sure. And I like my tequila. And we had Wild Blossom was also asking, hey, do I ruin my fasting if I have plain vodka or plain tequila during the fasting period?
Yeah, you do.
Really?
So drink early.
You just ruined for all of us right here, Dr. Hyman.
I know. It does. I mean, it's a carbohydrate load. I mean, alcohol is different than sugar. It's about 7 calories per gram, but it definitely has got calories, and anything with calories will start your metabolism up.
So it's no alcohol at all
No alcohol.
that you can have.
You can, but you can't have it if you during that 12-hour period or 16-hour period if you're doing that.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. That just changed my
That just
whole
ruins everything,
perspective.
right? Well, you don't have to do it every day. You can do intermittent fasting like 3 times a week. You shouldn't be drinking every day anyway. So that's good.
True. Very true. But if you do just 3 days a week, do you still reap the
Of course, yeah.
benefits?
I mean, if you want to do, everybody should do 12 hours. That's non-negotiable. Right?
Non-negotiable, 12 hours.
Every day, 12 hours. That's just basic cleanup, repair, and maintenance of your biology. If people want to get added benefit, they can extend it to 14 or 16 hours.
Okay. Lisa Carl 34. We already answered your first question, but your second question that she said is, I'm always hungry again in 2 hours. So should I eat 3 meals, although it's a much smaller window?
Well, often people are always hungry because they haven't regulated their biology properly. And this has to do with insulin. Insulin is the hormone that gets produced when you eat starch or sugar. So it can be rice, it can be potatoes, it can be pasta, bread, sugar. All that raises your blood sugar, causes a spike in insulin. That then causes your blood sugar to go down, which then causes you to be hungry. It slows your metabolism. So the key to cutting hunger is to get rid of the starch and sugar, eat more fat, and eat protein. Those things cut your appetite and help balance your blood sugar and insulin so you don't end up in this vicious cycle. So you won't be hungry if you do it properly, but if you're eating carbohydrates all day, which is what Americans eat, right? 60 or 70% of our diet is starchy carbohydrates and sugar, then you're going to end up in this vicious cycle of hunger and craving, and it's really important to break that cycle.
Yes, that is such a good point. You're a big advocate to change the rules of how we eat.
I am.
And how they feel about it. You want to tell us a little bit about that, and we can do some more questions right after.
You mean around fixing the food system?
Yes, you have a book, which I have it. Where is it? I have it. It's actually in my room. It's actually in my bedroom.
It's called Food Fix.
Eating, so I have it next to my bed.
Good. All right.
Well, what you're trying to do, and I think it's so important to educate people on it. And I think it's so important to talk about it because we're the ones that suffer at the end of it. We're the ones with the doctor bills and going to,
That's
and
true.
all and suffering the not being healthy.
Oh, yeah, we do have a messed up food system. I mean, it causes us to produce food that makes us sick and fat. 60% of our calories is ultra processed food. And people who eat a little bit of that get sick. I mean, 10% of your calories is ultra processed food. Your risk of death goes up by 14%, and it's 60% of our calories. So it causes heart disease, diabetes, obesity. And we're seeing the consequences of that with COVID-19 because so many people who are getting really sick and dying are those who are overweight, not even obese, just overweight, obese, diabetic, heart disease, chronic illnesses. That's what's killing people with COVID. And all the economic consequences of all that chronic disease are staggering. It's 1/3 of Medicare. It's, you know, 1 out of every $5 in our economy. It destroys the climate because of how we grow food in the agriculture. We see incredible destruction of soil, our water systems, destruction of the biodiversity, pollinator species going down, and we see you know, a lot of social justice issues and health inequities because of you know, the food that people are eating and the way that people don't have access, or they have access to the bad stuff and not the good stuff. And there's so many consequences. Even our kids, you know, are not able to function and learn in school because their brains are not working because they're eating crap. So we have all these problems that relate to the food system. And so my book, Food Fix, was really about laying out the problem, but also the solutions. How do we fix this? What are the policies and approaches, from business innovation to policymakers to individuals? What can we all do to actually fix the problem?
That's amazing. Thank you for
Somebody asked what my podcast was. It's The Doctor's Pharmacy.
The Doctor's Pharmacy is the podcast. Food
Yeah.
Fix is the name of the book.
Yes.
And you guys should really educate yourselves on it, because we all play a part on how we can make the change. We really do. A lot of times we think that we don't have the power, but reality is that we have the most power. They just tell us we don't.
That's right. We do. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Exactly. Do you guys have any other questions on intermittent fasting? I'm getting a question here from Kelly and Joe, and she's asking, I thought that breakfast was the most important meal of the day.
Well, breakfast is when you break your fast. So is it 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12? It is an important meal, but it depends on what we're trying to achieve. And I think if people eat the right breakfast, it's okay. But most of Americans' breakfast is sugar. Pancakes, waffles, French toast, muffins, cereal, bagels. I mean, it is the worst thing you can do to your body, which is give yourself sugar for breakfast, because all day long you'll be up and down, you'll be hungry, you'll be craving, you'll feel like crap, and you won't really be nourishing your body. So start the morning with protein and fat. That's what I do.
So what would you recommend? Give us some examples of great breakfast items.
So this morning I had I had some pasture-raised eggs. I whipped up 3 eggs. I put it in the pan, I let it cook, put some greens on there, just turn it over, and had a little greens egg omelet. That's what I had. Sometimes I'll have a protein shake with my vegan protein shake, where I'll put in additional almond butter. I'll throw in some frozen berries, maybe, you know, some other nutrients, like put in different greens or different things I like to put in there. And it's a great breakfast with protein and fat and fiber, but no starch or sugar.
All right, so protein, good fat, no starch, no sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Breakfast, I mean, you know, if you eat sugar for breakfast, your whole day is going to be messed up. You're going to be up and down in energy and craving and hunger, and that's going to screw your whole system up.
Yeah, but like, would you say that, like, so for instance, an avocado toast?
Yeah. Well, it depends. You know, for example, you could have an avocado toast, but I would have the German whole kernel rye bread rather than having even whole wheat bread, which is just pulverized flour that's got a little, you know, grain, you know, whole wheat in it. You want something that's actually made from whole kernels. So I make these nut and seed breads. I have a cookbook called Food, What the Heck Should I Cook? And there's some great flourless breads in there that you can make. You toast them in the oven. You can put your avocado stuff on that. It's yummy. It's delicious. It's full of seeds and nuts and fiber. That's
great. Can you tell us the name of the book again? Because I know
Food, What the Heck Should I Cook?
What the heck should I cook? It's such a good title. I watched the documentary. I'm spacing out the name right now. Oh my gosh, I just watched it, which talks about the good fats and how we've been taught wrong. You were part of it.
Yeah. Oh, what was it called?
Oh my gosh, am I always spacing out on this right now?
I know, me too.
Big
Fat Lie or something like that. Big Fat Lie, maybe.
Fat Fiction?
Maybe Fat Fiction. Yeah, maybe. I should know, right? I was the narrator of the movie.
It's okay. okay. It's okay. I'm spacing out on it too.
I just do
I mean,
so many things and so many interviews I can't keep track sometimes.
no, I hear you. I've been up since, I was up at 2 in the morning, helping Matthew. Matthew, my husband, he's got a book that comes out today.
I
Green
know, I
light.
saw that. I
Did
should
you
have
see
him on my
it?
podcast.
Yes, absolutely, for
Yeah.
sure. So he was doing all the shows, and he starts super early. So we were up in the middle of the night. So my brain is a little woozy right now
Yeah,
too.
yeah, because you're in Hawaii, right? So it's got to start at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Somebody's asking, what about olive oil?
Olive oil is great. I think you can use olive oil and just do your dance with olive oil. Don't worry about limiting it. If you're eating any kind of starch and sugar, though, you really, the more fat you eat, you can get in trouble. But if you have a low starch sugar diet, lots of olive oil is great for you.
Somebody was also asking Dr. Hyman, does intermittent fasting help you lose the weight even if you're not exercising?
Yes. So here's the deal. Everybody has learned that we're supposed to eat less and exercise more to lose weight. It's just a bad idea because it slows your metabolism, and you really can't exercise your way out of a bad diet. So if you eat one cookie, you have to walk 4 miles to burn it off. If you have one.
Wait. Go back to that. If you eat one cookie.
Yeah, you have to walk 4 miles to burn it off. If you have one sized meal, you have to run 4 miles every day to burn it off for a week. If you have a supersized meal every day, you literally have to run a marathon every day to keep up. So you can't exercise.
Listening to this? Are you,
You
guys
can't.
getting this information right now?
You can't exercise your way out of a bad diet. If you really want to lose weight, exercise is critical, but it's food, and then exercise.
Food, and exercise.
Yeah.
Now, somebody, Melissa is saying is it hard on the adrenals because every time I've tried, I actually gain weight.
Doing what? Time restricted eating?
Yes,
intermittent.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're doing with the rest of your diet, the rest of your lifestyle, how much stress you're under. So it's important to deal with all things: sleep, stress, exercise, food, and then you can experiment. It doesn't work for everybody. So I don't think universally it's good. It just depends on what's going on with you and your metabolism. But typically for those of us who are overweight or who are or have pre-diabetes or diabetes, it can be very, very effective, and even longer periods of fasting.
Yes. Okay, so hold on a second. Silva, she's asking, what do you think about fruits?
Fruit is fine. I mean, fruit, not eating only fruit or eating fruit in huge quantities, but fruit is full of antioxidants and nutrients, and it comes with fiber and vitamins and minerals. So I think I stick with mostly the non-sugary fruits like berries and things like that, kiwis. But if you're eating a lot of grapes or pineapple, you can get into trouble.
Okay, that's good to know. That's really good to know. Somebody else was also asking, what about sweeteners like the monk fruits and
I mean, monk fruit's the best. Whole plant leaf stevia is fine, but most of the other ones I stay away from. All the artificial sweeteners, all the xylitol, sugar alcohols, erythritol, they cause digestive issues. But monk fruit is okay. And again, you want to also train your body not to crave sweet, because right now you're going to buy these like smoothies which are a little bit sweetened, which isn't even that sweet. I think it's like too sweet for me. So your body adapts. I mean, you have artificial sweeteners. They're often 1,000 times more sweet than regular sugar. So you're like training your brain to expect all this sweetness. It's really, really bad. Oh, I saw my friend Emily Gerland. Hi, Emily. All right.
So what's your recommendation, Dr. Hyman, to train your mind not to crave all those, to train your body not to crave all those sweets?
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there.
I said, what's your recommendation for people at home, right? On how to train your body not to crave all the sweets. We did a whole thing.
Well, I have a whole program. It's called the 10-Day Reset, and it's designed exactly for that, because food, particularly sugar and starch, are biologically addictive. And so we created a program of the timing of eating, what you eat, what you take along with it, that helps you literally reset your biology. And within 10 days, you will see a dramatic difference in your health, well-being, energy, cravings, and weight. It's called the 10-Day Reset. You can just go to Get Pharmacy with an F, GETFARMACY.com, and people can learn more about it.
That's fantastic. That's great. We did a whole thing on Women of Today last month we did a sugar talk, and we learned a lot about sugar. So we have a lot of information on the website as well, guys, Women of Today, and you can check it out. We're also doing this month, this is part of the reason why I wanted to talk to you too, because we're doing self-care this month. And this is part of, like, how do you take good care of yourself with everything that's going on in the world right now? So it's a lot of articles on the website, and all the other lives that we have done as well on the website, Women of Today. Dr. Hyman,
it's been so fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Beyond grateful for this.
We'll do this again.
I would love to. Don't say that, because I will come back.
I'll do it. Just have Matthew. I'll tell Matthew I'm happy to have him on my podcast. I got like 40 million downloads, so I think he'll get a good audience.
That would be fantastic, and that would be fun. So I know you guys will have fun together.
Okay, great. All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much again, Dr. Hyman.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.